Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're talking about this brand new product from UBeauty. It's the Super Tinted Hydrator. It's a tinted moisturizer, and we're going to review that and compare it side by side with the Chanel Water Fresh Tint because I think that these may have some similarities but also some differences. So that is today's video. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. To start off, we will do a product breakdown, give all the general information, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison and see how these wear. So the first product here, this is brand new. It's been on the market for a couple of months from UBeauty. This is more of a skincare forward brand, and they have some lip products with tint, but I would say that this is their first makeup product. So this is called the Super Tinted Hydrator, and this retails at $108, which is a little bit pricey. And the description is a futuristic formula that's 1 part moisturizer, 1 part skin tint. Boosted for luminosity minus the weight of makeup, each flexible self-adjusting shade blends like second skin, nourishing with deep, sustained hydration and skin fortifying ingredients for up to 48 hours. So the shade range here is interesting. I have the shade number 4 here, which is described as a shade for light to medium skin tones, which is me. Now, there are 11 shades to choose from, and you may be thinking 11 is abysmal. However, this is adaptive. So each shade can go up or down 2 shades-ish. It's a skin tint, so it's not a hard, super covering foundation. It has flexibility to it. So if I was really unsure which shade to order, I was between 4 and 5. I went with 4. I think it works perfectly for me, but there is that caveat. So if you're not 100% certain which shade to get, if you think you're maybe in between a couple of shades, that's perfectly fine. It really is adaptable. It's stretchy. It's not a hard, perfect shade match. So be aware of that. What else? Oh, we have the skincare ingredients here. So go ahead and pause this here. This is the ingredient list for this product here. On top of that, this says it's more for dry, dehydrated skin, which is my skin type. It says it's going to give a sheer finish and it's going to moisturize and hydrate as well. Just hit my funny bone, not very funny, haha. Okay, moving on to the Chanel Water Fresh Tint. I have talked ad nauseum about this product. It's been out for several years. I've purchased, I think this is my 3rd or 4th bottle. I really love it. So the Chanel Libre Water Fresh Tint, this retails at $70 US plus tax. You can also buy the travel size, which is half the size here. A light to medium coverage foundation with a gel texture and pigmented micro droplets that create a radiant bare skin effect and healthy looking glowing skin, featuring a patented microfluidic technology, a lightweight formula composed of 75% water, delivering a burst of freshness upon application for up to 8 hours of hydration. Here is the ingredient list for the Water Fresh Tint. Please feel free to pause this one to have a look. And this one here also has a very limited shade range. It has 8 shades available, and I'm using the shade medium. Medium has been my go-to color. I haven't really used any other colors, so medium I think for me is perfect. I'm usually like a B30, B40 in summer, so that's my shade range. And again, with the skin tint here, this is a stretchy coverage, stretchy shade range. You don't need an exact, hard, precise shade match for this. There are less colors available in the Water Fresh Tint, but it's similar where you can go up or down a couple of shades. It really does not need to be precise. So if you're in between shades, if you're buying online, it's not that big of a deal. As far as application goes for UBeauty, it says to do 1 application and let it dry and then add another one. For the Water Fresh Tint, you're supposed to put it on the back of your hand and crush the pigments. So what I'll do is I'll show you the difference in texture here. So this is the shade number 4, and you can see the texture is a bit more serumy. I would say that for me, well, it is runny, but I experience this more like a nice milky serum. That's what the texture reminds me of. There's a little bit of a scent. It doesn't smell like perfume. It really just smells like skincare. That's what it smells like. And then the Water Fresh Tint almost is more watery, if you can believe it. Very fluid as well. However, this one here reminds me more of water. You can see it. It's not quite as milky. It isn't quite as thick. This is what I mean, where you have to break it down like this, and then the color is sort of blended together. But I would say the main texture difference is UBeauty feels more milky and more serum-like, and the Chanel one is just pure water and gel. This side here will be UBeauty. I think I'll do one pump. I have one pump here on the back of my hand. I'll start off with this much. And then I'll add more if I need more. I'm using a BK Beauty brush. Everything that I'm mentioning and listing is in the description box down below. You could use your fingertips to apply this. You could use a sponge. You could use a brush. If you use your fingers, it's going to be even more sheer. I like a foundation brush just to buff and diffuse this. So that's basically half a pump here. This is how it looks on contact with the skin. It looks luminous, it looks dewy. The texture again feels milky, almost like a milky hydrating serum. And when you blend it into the skin, it really absorbs quickly. It blends really quickly. It doesn't sit on the skin. It doesn't feel like makeup. I let this dry down just a little bit, and I'm just going to add a touch more here. The coverage for this is very sheer. You're not going to build this up to a medium by any means, but it looks very beautiful. If you want a little bit more coverage, just take a little bit on a fingertip and just sort of tap it where you might have a blemish or imperfection. Onto the Water Fresh Tint. So use the back of your hand, or if you have like a tray or something, or those like metal plates, you could use that. And then you crush it like this, and then you apply. I think that the Water Fresh Tint feels more cooling to the touch when you apply it. I think it's the gel texture. It feels more watery, a bit more fresh on contact with the skin. And I would say that UBeauty feels more soothing and more milky, if milky can be a feeling. Now, if you want to add more coverage with the Water Fresh Tint, you do not have to wait for it to dry. You can just go in directly. So I'm just going to break a bit more and add a bit more as well. This is just the two skin tints right here. So when I did the swatch on the back of my hand, I know that the shades looked vastly different, but on my face, I think that they look pretty indistinguishable. I don't see, like here on live here, I don't think I see a difference. I don't see like a big line across my face, but let me know on camera how it looks. I think that in person, these look like the exact same shade, but please let me know in the comments. So this is just these two. I think that this looks very luminous, very healthy looking. We're gonna go ahead and add a bit of concealer and blush just to show you how this wears, you know, how this plays with other products. I'm using the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer because I personally am going to wear these with other makeup. I'm not going to wear it on its own, although, you know, you could for a very light, no makeup day. And I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, I will in fact include a wear test of the new UBeauty Tinted Moisturizer Skin Tint here, because I have been wearing it on the weekend just to test it out. So far, this is blending nicely. I wasn't sure first with this UBeauty product because it says to let it dry down completely before adding more product, so I was worried there might be some pilling issues or rolling, but I haven't noticed anything else. And the other day when I was doing the wear test, I didn't notice any pilling or rolling, you know, with other skincare layered underneath and other makeup. It was totally fine. I'm going in with this MAC cream bronzer here called Rosie Does It. I just was inspired by old school MAC products. It's new to me, this blush here, but I was just nostalgic, and so I picked up some MAC. Just blending this out. And this is a cream blush. The only reason I picked a cream blush is because I wanted to lean into the dewiness and the glow, but you could wear a powder, you could do bronzer, you could do highlighter, all that jazz, it's fine. So this is a bristle, it's annoying, but nothing is rolling, nothing is pilling. I think that this is playing very nicely with other makeup products. I also just finished off with a little bit of lip oil. This is from Dior, and this is the shade 001. So this is what a full face looks like. Again, I don't think there's a difference in the shade range here between the two. I know on the back of the hand it looked super wild, but with blush, with concealer, I think that these look like twins almost in a way. So I'm going to include the wear test here. So this is about 6 hours of wear, and in this video I am wearing the UBeauty tint here, some concealer, some blush, some mascara, a little bit of brow. Like, it's a very, very minimal makeup day, but I think that this held up really nicely. One thing to note is that in real life and on the camera here, this looks very luminous. It gives you that glass skin effect, that glass skin, very healthy, luminous, hydrated, moisturized. Like, you look deeply moisturized with this, and you look deeply moisturized hours and hours and hours later. Like this, the glow, the glass skin effect stays in place, which is nice if you want that. I would say that it wears nicely. The coverage is very sheer. It literally says it's sheer coverage. It is a sheer coverage. Your skin but better, you but better, a little bit enhanced, a little bit covered, but not very much. I would say that it holds up. It doesn't pill, it doesn't pick up, it doesn't fill in any crevices or creases, it doesn't pick up on dry skin or anything like that. So that's really nice. I think it does wear very, very nicely. It's a very sheer coverage. The two biggest differences here are the texture. This is a milky serum moisturizer, whereas the Water Fresh Tint feels more like a refreshing, invigorating gel. Even though this is 75% water, I think that this is more moisturizing. I think, so the difference between moisture and hydration is just water, whereas moisture is going to have more moisturizing skincare properties to it. And if you have dry, dehydrated, mature skin, if you live in very arid, harsh, wind-trapped, wintry climates, this is 100% for you. I think that this Libre Water Fresh Tint offers a little bit more blurring effect. I think you can offer more blurring, like a little bit more coverage with it. Not very much, but a little bit more. Whereas this here, it's very, very sheer, but it feels moisturizing. Like the skincare benefits, the skincare components in here, I feel on impact when I blend it out. And all day, I just feel more cocooned. I feel more moisturized, a little bit more protected from the elements, and I like the finish. It's very natural, very sheer, but it gives me that glass skin, so healthy look. So even though these look similar-ish, they have similar packaging, they are different, but I think if you like one, you might like the other. It depends. If you have very oily skin, or even if you just don't like the look of shine, because some people have oily skin and don't mind having a shiny face. If you don't like shine, do not get this. Unless you want to use a powder over top, which you could. I didn't try that, but you could do that. But it's going to be very luminous and dewy all day long. I may in fact wear these together combined just to give like the powerhouse combination of like a skin tint. If I was going to wear these together, I would wear the Water Fresh Tint underneath, because in general it's better to put water underneath, and then this one here is a bit thicker, a bit creamier in texture. I would put that one on top. So I could use this as a blurring primer and then put this on top for like that glass skin moisturized look. So anyway, that's my take on these two. I really like this product. I think the number 4 works for me. I think it's good. I don't think it's too pale. I don't think it's too dark. Again, it has that stretchy component to it. So I'm very happy with this purchase here. I love a skin tint. I love a tinted moisturizer. I love that my skin but better, breathable, lightweight. It doesn't feel like skin. It doesn't feel like skin, my goodness. It doesn't feel like makeup. It feels very lightweight. I think they both feel a little bit tacky, to be honest. Just a little bit. Maybe this one feels a little bit more tacky, which makes sense because it's more dewy. But I think it's a good product. I'm very happy to purchase it, and I see myself using this a lot in the near future. But now, I leave it up to you. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you tried this out? I saw online and also in store that some of the shades have sold out. So clearly some of you must have already tested it out. If you're like me, if you like your skin but better, very natural, and you don't mind having some imperfections pop out, I think this is definitely a product for you. Leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do so. And if you already are subscribed, just double, triple check that you're still subscribed, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people from my channel. How fun. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.